Well, hello everyone. It's your your family, your mom and dad. No, this is Butch and Julieann, and this is HARTbeat. We meet every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And if you haven't noticed, I'm Julieann. That's my husband, Butch. And we talk about all things marriage. Like we talk about everything.
Welcome, welcome to Healing Journeys today. We are so glad you guys are all here.
But what I'm saying is that we talk about everything because I know that in a marriage, we have a lot of things that we come across and what we experience together. And especially Butch and I have been married for 32 years. So there's a lot of things that we have experienced together. And so it's nice to be able to share our experience with all of you. And so that's what's going on. But before we start, I am going to, why did I just put a lemon drop in my mouth?
Yeah, smart move. I'll handle it from here. Hey, everybody, we're glad you're all here on Healing Journeys today. And like Julianne said, we do talk about marriage and relationships in the Christian life and living your life as a Christian married person or in a relationship with someone who's a Christian. A lot of times we are not. In a relationship with another Christian person, that's completely fine, of course. But when you are in a relationship with another Christian person, we would like to all have the expectation that we can all listen to the Lord when it comes to dealing with issues about our marriage and relationship. And if you're not in a relationship, that's fine too. Jesus can be your best friend. He's always your best friend. And by the way, he doesn't even mind if you have other best friends, like some best friends do. That sounds like really weird, I know. But our topic today, do opposites really attract?
Yeah. And what's funny, we were at dinner about a week ago with some friends, and one of the guys at the table, he was just there, and he was talking about some kind of a, I don't know, like a test you can take, for your spouse and to see how compatible you are. And so this friend of ours, they've been married for 40 something years, and they were talking about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Can Butch and I do it? He goes, yeah, sure. And I said, well, we're really different. We're very opposite each other. He goes, you'd be surprised. And I'm like, no. Butch is all, animation and creativity and a storyteller. And I'm not any of those things. I'm creative, but I'm not a storyteller for sure. Not one like outwardly, like I can tell a story. Like, I guess I could write it or I could visualize it, but it's not always.
You can tell a story.
I can, but yours are always better. But anyway, so he goes, yes, let's take the test. So it asks you a bunch of questions about yourself, and then he gets the email of all of your answers, and then he puts together this graph and shows you how compatible you are. And it turned out that we actually are a lot alike.
Way more alike than we thought we would be. And in fact, the couple that we took the advice from to take the test, turns out they were a lot less compatible, not less compatible, but they were far more different in their, interests and things that they thought. They were both Christians though. And, the one thing we do have in common that's really been a constant through our marriage is that, we really do both love Jesus. Yes. And it really has to come down to that, because when we do a relationship with Christ, it's all about dying to yourself and putting Christ first. And by the way, Christ isn't about that because he's got an ego. Jesus doesn't say, hey, put me first because I'm an egomaniac like a person, He wants you to put him first because he knows it's what's best for you.
Yeah.
It's almost like your mom making you eat your vegetables. Like, we all, when we were little kids, didn't want to eat the vegetables. But your mom knew they were the best for you, right? And she wasn't forcing it on you because she was trying to be an egomaniac. She knew it was best for you. So the Lord knows spending time with him needs to come first, because it's through spending time with him you can then transfer what you get onto other people. And that's what he wants.
Absolutely. So it was, what was interesting is that my friend said, I always felt like I was on the outside looking in our family dynamic. And so they were saying how, well, yeah, that's because you actually are on the outside, because the rest of them are a lot alike and you're not like them at all. So it's just really interesting how we don't even realize, why we might feel like odd in our own, house, but not know why. But anyway, that was to say all that is to say that, Butch and I, we found out that the different strengths in my life are the things that can hold on and sustain the things that Butch wants to do. It's like he has it. Let's say he has an idea of something, and I try to figure out how to get it done. He's got all the ideas, and I'm the one that's trying to figure out how to actually do it. So that's really kind of cool. And so, and
do we always have to be around people that are exactly like us? Do you insist on marrying or being with someone who's got your exact same interests? I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying it's good. It can work differently for different people, but we got to make sure that when we are trying to find that perfect mate, if you're both pilots, you'll be flying around the sky all day. I mean, will there be anybody to keep us grounded? I mean, got to think of things like that. So it depends. I think having a well-rounded mix of interests is good myself, but that's just me. Everybody's different.
Yeah. And so, and also see, all that does come with communication. And I mean, I know sometimes you're like, I don't even know what to talk about, right? Like, how do you talk about those things about being different from each other? Why does it take like our friend to like do an analysis on us to find out that, oh, you actually are compatible. That's not even a word, compatible. And so, but it really did. What I like about it too, is that it puts things in perspective of, okay, so I do understand my lane. So my question to you is like, what is your lane? And is it okay if you are married to someone really opposite of you? Well, like we discovered, I don't know if they're exactly like way opposite of you. You just feel like they are, and you don't maybe see where you fit in, but you do fit in. There's obviously a reason why y'all got married. So you want to, you're cultivating that marriage, and you're working on that marriage every single day. And maybe there are some things that that how you guys work, together, and how you encourage each other, and how you lift each other up, and how you make each other better because you're in their life and you're helping them do those things to get to that place.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at our title, do opposites really attract? Well, you have to ask yourself, do they? Are you someone who attracts the opposite of you all the time? Or we even have to look at this. Do we repel do we repel people all the time? What kind of person do we attract in our life? Do you attract people that lift you up, or do you attract people that pull you down? Do you attract people that make your life better, or do you attract people that you feel are trying to always make things rougher? We read a proverb today, Proverbs 12, and in the proverb it talks a lot about foolish people rejecting instruction. If you're a foolish person, you'll reject instruction as opposed to embrace it. The wise person embraces instruction. Like, let me go here to Proverbs 12. I gotta find it.
This is one of my favorite proverbs, and I always say this because the second, let's see, Proverbs.
I got it here. Proverbs 12. Let me see. Oh yeah, the way of a fool. Proverbs 12:15. The way of a fool. So think about yourself. Do we think that we're a fool or not? The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. Like, if you listen to counsel, listen to advice, you're wise. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. The fool doesn't listen to anybody. So we need to understand what kind of person we are. Are we someone who's a fool, or are we someone who listens to other people?
But it's here. Are you getting to two? I mean, yeah, two. No, sorry, that's one. I don't know what translation you're on.
Well, that was verse 15. That was chapter 12. It was Proverbs 12, verse 15.
Oh, well, I like chapter 12, verse 1. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. I love that in the Bible. I mean, it's just funny.
Stupid is in the Bible. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge. If you love to listen, not just listening, but actually taking what you've listened to and then applying it, if you listen and learn, he who loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. Like, if you hate to have people correct you, and I'm not saying that there are people out there all the time, that's all they want to do is correct you. Yeah. We don't like that so much. But when someone's trying to really help you, But all we say is, yeah, whatever, I got it. And yeah, thank you. You can't tell me anything. Well, I've encountered that many, many times in my life, and I've been the one who said that. I don't want to hear it. I've also been the one who gives advice. So, I mean, I've been on both ends. It's not the best way to be. Not being teachable is not good.
Amen. And that is a problem. And what you talked about being a fool is someone that literally goes against God, because he's seeking a fool seeks the foolish things in this world.
Right.
And so that's usually someone that would go against God, would be a fool. So every time you read about a fool, just know that's a person that goes against God, which is really sad, because honestly, God is good and his mercy does endure forever. And he is a loving God, and he is a saving God, and he is a prosperous God, and he is a healing God, and he is all of those things. There's nothing that he's not, meaning that there's nothing good that is not in him, right? I know that a lot of times people have such a bad rap on who God is, because they think that God is punishing them. They think that God didn't, get them that promotion in life and all that stuff. And it's like, why are you blaming God? Could it be that possibly you just didn't get the job because you didn't get the job? Maybe you weren't qualified. Maybe God is looking out for you and God does not want you there. Did you ever think about that? We're all so quick to say, God, just you take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus takes the wheel. And you're like, oh, wait, I don't actually like the way you took the wheel. I'm going to take it back because you're making a lot of right-hand turns or left-hand turns, and I don't like that. Right. And so we try to, massage it into what we want it to be. And God is who he is. And that's going to be hard to do, but he loves you. We're going to start from there. He loves you. That's where we start. There's a starting point.
Yeah. And also when it says do opposites really attract, I encourage anybody out there, if you are, I'll speak for the men, if you're like the quiet type and you don't want to talk and don't want anybody bothering you, but you're married to someone who's very gregarious and outgoing and, wanting to talk, there might be times I know where, maybe you don't want to talk, but your spouse will find someone to talk to, and you might not like the person that they end up talking to. Sometimes being so opposite isn't a good thing. We can all learn how to, I don't want to use the word compromise, the only word I can think of right now. We all need to learn how to adapt to the people around us and maybe take on some of their qualities a little bit so that we can get along. And there's we've been talking to some couples recently where one person likes to do this and the other person doesn't like to do it at all and refuses to do it. It's like, well, can't you just go do it once? Can't you just go there and do that with them? And maybe you might, number one, find that you like it, or number two, you're at least showing them that you are glad that they're there. You want them there no matter what, so.
And that you care.
Yeah. Or maybe you
care about them.
Right. Or maybe, include this person in certain things that you want to do and see if they enjoy it. I don't know. We need to learn how to include our spouse or our significant other in the things that we do. Because if we don't, we're going to become a loner in a marriage that's really built for two people.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, that it is for two. And I think that I don't even know if I can even say like that generation did this or that generation did that, because I don't know. But I know that from my own self in the house I was raised in, my parents didn't do anything together. They did everything apart from each other. And probably because they didn't like being together and they just got married for convenience. And I hear that all the time. And it's so sad to me because, especially when you bring kids into the world and you're like, there was really no love there. You might have loved that person because you loved them as a friend, but were you in love with them? Because, the in love is the thing that's going to keep you forever. It keeps that passion in both of you that you guys both have, and that maybe you guys dreamt together and talked about all the incredible things that you want to do together as a family, which is amazing. But when you lose, when you don't have that, that's hard. That's really hard to find something that literally glues you together. Besides the Holy Spirit, we know that he is the super glue of any relationship. But in addition to that, what holds you two together? That's a really good question for you to ask your spouse.
I'm looking at again by going. It's interesting how Proverbs 12 applies to so many things. Proverbs 12 verse 11: He who tills his land will be satisfied with bread, but he who follows frivolity is devoid of understanding. He who tills his land will be satisfied with bread. When you till your land, that means you're working your land. You're working what you have. You're getting out there and you're working it. You're either working your career, you're working your craft, you're working your family, you're working your relationship. You need to work your relationship, gang. I'm telling you this. I mean, it's great to be in one probably, but there is a time where you're going to have to start sacrificing some stuff in order to make your relationship work. And this goes for both of you, not just one.
Yeah.
There might be one of you that's maybe sacrificing more for the other. I don't know what it is, but when I talked earlier about Jesus not wanting you to be with him because he's got an ego, a lot of us humans, we do have an ego. I want to do what I want to do, and you're not going to stop me because this is what I love to do. And if you don't like it, oh well. Have we ever heard that before? Have we ever said that before?
Yeah, it's coming out of both of our mouths.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, it is true. We've said it, we've done it. But we know that doesn't work. I mean, what it does is your marriage will still stay together, but you won't have the kind of joy, the kind of fun, the kind of peace that you would have you guys really talk things out and communicated with each other. Cause that's really important. It all boils down to that. It's communication. And I know that not everybody likes to communicate, but you might find through that communication that you really do have a lot more in common than you thought. There's some commonality between the two of you. There is something because you guys took the time to get married, right? So, or you're taking the time to have a relationship. There's some commonality there for sure, but just what that is and can that sustain you? I know there's so many people right now that I know that are on dating apps and stuff, and it's like, they're really trying to handpick, their next husband, which is great. But it's like, you can I don't know if they're truthful, but at least on their profiles, they're saying certain things and they might be thinking, the person on the other end might be thinking that, oh my God, they're the perfect match for me. But in reality, they're none of that. Just like when you see the picture and you're like, oh, you don't look like that. When the guy or the girl walks into the restaurant, you're like, wait, where's this young person? I don't see that person here. I would be, what? If I was doing online dating, I would get so mad.
Oh my God.
If someone walked in and they were 20 years older than their picture, or they just had it, little fat parts of them removed, I would be so mad that they did not look like what they do. I mean, what they do look like on their profile picture.
It's sort of not fair. It's sort of very unfair when they don't depict themselves in an honest way. Listen, all of us want to be, accepted. Everybody wants to be thought of as great looking and, smart and great to be around. And a lot of us, we picture ourselves that way, right? But it's really, really what's in the heart that matters. I know it's very cliche, but you know what? What's really funny, I was talking to somebody yesterday, it was a lady, and she said, my family doesn't really care for my fiance because they don't think he's good looking enough. And I said, interesting. And she goes, but I love him so much because he's the first one that really touched my heart. He has my heart. He makes me laugh. And I was like, wow, that's really great for him, because she loves him for him, not his looks,
That's crazy that they didn't like the way he looked.
Yeah, but she says it. She goes, yeah, my family doesn't like him because he's not very good looking. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I thought that was sad for the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so sad. Well, we've got lots of things going on here. At our next conference, we really want to do some, which will be September 6th and 7th in Lake Elmo, Minnesota. And we're going to really start breaking down some things in marriage, because it's really important that we talk about this. I know that a lot of Christians won't go get counseling because it's like, oh, where's my faith if I go get counseling? But a lot of marriages are on the rocks. Mm-hmm. And so, just using that excuse, well, we have nothing in common. I hear that all the time. We have nothing in common, but you do have something in common. You built a life together. You might have known each other 5 minutes, but you both said I do. There's something right there. You might have a baby on the way already. Like there's a lot of things that could already be in existence at the young stage of your relationship. But the bottom line is that at this conference we're going to do breakout sessions and really talk about marriage and get those things out so that we're no longer holding on to any kind of animosity towards our spouses.
And the only way to get rid of the animosity, guys, is to get rid of the offense. Get rid of the offense in your heart. And that can be one of the biggest things you could ever do in your life. If you cease to be offended by everything, you will start to experience everything in a much different way. And again, do opposites really attract? They certainly can. You know why? Because you've gotten rid of the offense in your heart.
Yeah.
You found the Lord Jesus Christ, who's taught you a better way of living. Jesus says, forgive your enemies. It's like, man, can you even imagine such a thing? Back in the day, forgive your enemies. Even today, forgive my enemies. You mean all those horrible politicians that I don't like, or those horrible actors, or whoever they are, whatever you don't agree with, oh, I'm so offended all day long. And that's all.
Yeah.
That's all we're conditioned to be, is offended anymore. And I listen, we all fall into the trap. No one here is perfect. I would just like to at least give it a try, and be less offended, so that I can attract people that are opposite than me. You know why? Because they're going to grow and I'm going to grow. And so are you.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we have time for today, because we've got to get ready for our Bible study. But we're so thankful that you all came on. I know that there's some weeks that we're literally in an airplane. And
this year, since January, we've had a lot of traveling to do. Tyler here, he asks me where my next meet and greet's going to be. We're going to be in Boston this weekend, so come see us at the Fan Expo in Boston. I'll meet all my fans. It's so great to meet you all out there. We have such a great time.
Such a good time. And not only is it Boston, but it's also Washington State the weekend after that. So you want to definitely come out for those. And it's a lot of fun. It's so awesome to meet everybody. We love meeting Butch's fans. Love, love, love them. And it's so cool because their kids now are being raised on Feel the Odd Parents.
We've actually met Danny Fan in my other shows, but we've also met people from Healing Journeys Today and Charis Bible College. We meet all kinds of people that are they're just a blessing to us, and we're so grateful.
So we love you guys. Again, we have our conference coming up September 6th and 7th. Go to healingjourneystoday.com and check out there's a pop-up right there. There should be. If there's not, there should be one for the conference. You want to register. This is only registration for people that are going to be coming in. Literally, their bodies are going to be sitting in front of us. The rest of the people, you guys can, if you're going to watch it online, then you don't need to register. But if you're going to come and sit down with us live in person, you have to register on Eventbrite. And that will be out very soon if it's not out already. But go to healingjourneystoday.com. And if you would like to help support us financially and all the things Healing Journeys Today, please also do so at healingjourneystoday.com. We have everything there for you. It's exciting. And also, if you are a young adult between 18 and whenever, we are starting our first adult youth group, and it's going to be held August 24th on a Monday night here in Calabasas. So that's all my announcements. Love you all, and we'll see you next time on HARTbeat.
Bye, guys.